Hopefully this guy is troubleshooting.
Is the guru of AI, right? There is so much out there. Why still we have problems of understanding fundamentally what is AI? That's because industry is different, academic concept is different, right? So I'm here to bring an industry view to the learning process. That makes things simple. That kind of helps you to understand what's happening in ground world, ground reality. So that is what we're going to focus on today and tomorrow. So there will be more to learn. So I have a guest speaker who's going to come on and talk about industry view. Give me 1 minute. I'm just trying to ask him to, he's going to come on Zoom. I'm going to ask him to come on Zoom and then give more of an industry perspective, how generative artificial intelligence applied, built, deployed in production. Okay, it's publicly used by people like you on a daily basis. It makes decision review on approval process. Correct. So I'm going to bring him. His name is Ajay Gupta. So give me a minute. I'm just going to set up my laptop and bring him here. Yeah.
We can't hear anything.
Chat is disabled place, and we cannot.
Chat is disabled, so we can't hear.
Hello, Ajay. Yeah, could you join the Zoom? Could you join the Zoom link?
What are the common themes? So contact center was one common, and contact centers is common across actually all industries. So what are the use cases there where we could use Gen AI? So looked at some themes, like a lot going on this slide, as you can imagine. There's file note taking, multilingual contact center, there is natural language reporting, call comparison, right? Stuff like that. Then I was like, well, let me see other trends in terms of public safety, right? That's also part of it. The 911, calls that you all are familiar with. Freedom of information. That's the FOI you'll see on the screen. Freedom of for seeking information. That really everybody, all the residents are entitled to when asked. Incident chatbots, virtual assistants, reporting, all those things, sentiment analysis, common themes started to emerge. Then human services. I've done a whole lot of health and human services work, case management support, and once again, natural language reporting and chatbots and caseworker support. So even within these common areas that are across public sector, further common themes emerged across these lines of businesses, if you want to call those that. The same is true for regulatory and compliance. So generally speaking, there is a whole lot going on, and I wanted to share. This is obviously Gartner slides, but I kind of researched on the commonalities and realized the common themes which are on this word cloud here. Obviously, everybody knows about virtual assistants. Everybody knows about chatbots. Hey, I can get all these answers in the world. Everybody uses Bing and ChatGPT and all that. So that's table stakes. I have seen wrong answers. I have seen answers that are, confusing, and I'm sure Jothi and team are going to talk about throughout around what the strategies are to reduce and improve reduce the issues and improve the quality of the content that's going to get out of this probabilistic world of Gen AI. So the other themes have emerged around sentiment analysis to be able to do that, to be able to then provide instead of like giving scores, right? When, for example, when we started this specialized license project, we had more of a machine learning model, and it gave scores based on what we'd fed. 0.3 out of 1, that it's obscene and whatever. So we set thresholds and things like that. plate with that. So explanation became interesting. Same is true with if you share content or a transcript or information that you want to structure, right? Okay, well, you have a bunch of numbers and you got some trends going on. What does this mean? What can I do, right? If you're a statistician, you can find some of those things as well. So those themes emerge as well. In terms of incident support, additional themes emerge, right information, but also integrate with data and content to be able to actually truly provide contextual content. Summarize, create minutes, right? Our lazy Gen Zers love, sorry, Gen Zers, if you're on the call here, but y'all don't take notes. Nobody comes into the meetings who I have, the new Gen Zers I've hired, the interns, etc. They don't have the notion of taking minutes. They just assume they'll remember everything. I'm not sure, but the art of note taking is kind of disappearing. But it's a good thing. It's a sure short thing that's always available. You have communication camp. You will see a lot of social media. You'll start to see Gen AI content trolling as well in a bad way, but it could be used in a good way as well. And then obviously there is triaging and screening of content or pre-screening. Like for example, once again, for our personalized license plate, we run 2 steps. Gen AI first does the pre-screening for us, and then we have a technician augmentation that provides explanation for why something should be rejected, accepted, etc. The same is, and this is going to be really useful in public sector because there's complex business rules. So if I fed the regulation into the Gen AI, I can get answers. There's a what if scenario. Do I qualify, right, for a public service? So those are some of the things you can build out right off the bat, which is the amazing part of it. And then there is the onboarding part, right, for employees, etc., being able to have access to these policy bots that we are developing. So those are some, and then there's guides and next action as you're sitting at your desk and you're like, okay, here's the suggestion, pops up. All right, this is what you need to be able to do next. And this is all real now. This is happening today. And a lot of it is happening at the DMV as well. So this is all very exciting for us to be able to serve our customer and employees and provide all these services to make the lives easier and augment the creativity of the humans that are servicing our customers. So with that, just kind of quickly talk through some additional industry trends. This is from Gartner again. It specifically talks about, if you look on the top, there is, and so right now, not a whole lot in terms of, you will see in terms of the expectations. So if you see at the bottom, there is the innovation triggers, peak of inflated expectations, right? That it's going to solve the world, right? And then there is that little bit of a disillusionment with what it can really do. And then the enlightenment, meaning, okay, well, disappointed, but it can actually do this. Once again, if you think of blockchain a couple of years ago, it was going to solve the world. And I was kind of baffled by how much attention was being paid to it. It was not going to solve the world's problems. It was such a hype, right? It was there, it came down. Now it's at a place that it can do certain things. Actually, DMV is using certain aspects of blockchain today. We have minted all the vehicle titles as NFTs, and now we're going to be putting in the mobile wallet soon enough, so you can actually verify the titles without needing to carry around the paper or deal with fraud when you're buying and selling cars. So there's a lot going on in the space, but it's now balanced out. So that's what is happening today, right? So generative AI enabled applications are somewhat kind of happening. The retrieves, the hype cycle. There is some workload accelerator. We are using workload accelerator, right? With the explainability I shared with you with the personalized license plates. And then there is the virtual assistant, which is like, it's not solving a problem, it's answering a question, and sometimes not even right because it's hallucinating. So there is that trough of disillusionment there. So that's how you'd read this graph. Now, what is predicted by Gartner that in 2 to 5 years, this is what happens. So there is a whole lot happening. And I like to use the hype cycle not for to see what's truly hype and what's the disillusionment part, but really a many of
older I get, the older I actually get, it's harder for me to take notes. It's funny because she
we so whoever's recording, if you all can make up your mind on if I'm to start or stop, that'll be great. But the important thing is that when I do it, this is human cognitive part of it, right? When I write it down, I remember. I write it down, I do not even need to refer to my notes because I remember what I wrote down. It's just a practice thing. When you do record, cognitively speaking, you have a little bit of a cognitive overload with all the junk information that is there. Now, Gen AI could help you. The problem is policy wise, I am not sure if we are there yet to feed in all the, let's call it privileged content and feed it into Gen AI and then for Gen AI to summarize it for you because you're still feeding in all the content. And where is that going? Right? You can, although most technologies now offer silos that your data is promised to be separated out from the shared using obviously retrieval augmented generation in as one of the techniques to use. So that silo can help you protect your data. So I would say you as a state employee needs to be cognizant of the plain simple fact that you feed in information, it could have implications. Now you can solve for it by doing this. There is redaction tools available, right? If you, let's say somebody blurted out a driver license number or an SSN on a meeting because you're analyzing something, in the heat of the moment, you just share that info and now it's part of the transcription. But redaction tools can help you reduce the chance of sharing that information and getting fed into something that you don't own. So I would say for DMV, we are really careful with that. We do record things, we do transcribe, but we have data retention policies around it, and we have data silos available for us to manage. So that's how we are managing it. We are not allowing that data to be fed into Gen AI, not yet.
got it.
Check the chat, please.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah, Jay, one other quick question. You mentioned about virtual assistants. Is it more like a test-based one, or are you also using conversational AI to take the support calls or provide the information, or even book the appointments, etc.?
Yeah, we do actually. We created an omni-channel assistant today, but it's not Gen AI. Keep in mind, so I just want to make sure Gen AI is slated for end of the year. mostly because I'm making sure that our hallucinations are managed well, and I have some strategies we are coming up with to take care of that. But we do have conversational AI in place already, where we answer questions both on web and voice. And we have an escalation path, both on web and voice, that, hey, I want to talk to a live agent in the chat, or I want to talk to somebody live on a phone call. We have that path there. And then back to the conversational assistant as well, along with what we call as self or service fulfillment bots as well, where they actually integrate with, oh, I want to know the status of my vehicle registration or my driver license, or I want to renew my vehicle registration. You can all do that through the conversational assistants as well today. But once again, with Gen AI, we are looking at, can they answer the same question? Because it's kind of pain to maintain the for example, a deadline changed, right? For, COVID happened, things changed, and our policies got updated, and we had to go back and scramble to change the content related to the bots. And same thing is, real ID deadline is, feds have changed the real ID deadline, and somebody forgot to change that on the chatbot. So chatbot kept giving wrong deadline. So maintaining that is harder. So if it was Gen AI, you feed in the information and you kind of automatically feed in latest info. So your website and your policy documents, they're in sync with the chatbot that way. So that's what we are looking
The reason I
forward to.
ask for that, right? Definitely information up to date is one aspect, but the other one, especially with the voice, the latency and being able to understand different languages and respond properly is a major challenge. And on your point that you're able to even put escalation, recently I found that even Papa John's and even I think McDonald's, they're deploying this Gen AI technology for the voice and introduce the escalation to the human if someone wants to talk to a human being.
Yeah. So yes, in terms of latency, so our bots service, and I don't have good, maybe 400,000 sessions a month. I could be off on that, but in general, first of all, not Gen AI yet, like I said, but we also do 13 languages translation. In fact, we have live language translation too. Let's say, for example, if you're typing in Mandarin or if you're typing in Spanish, the technician is still getting information in English, and when they're typing it back, they're getting in Mandarin or Spanish. So, but it's real time, and we have not heard any complaints from customers on any latencies. With Gen AI, we also have looked at the SLAs that are provided, so you can buy dedicated tenants, subscribe to dedicated tenants, and guaranteed SLAs. And that's what we are really looking forward to, so we can maintain the same level of service with Gen AI as we have with traditional AI today. So there is very obviously the technology companies are solving for the latency issue for us. We are merely making sure that our SLAs are well called out when we set up those contracts with those companies.
Awesome. Thank you, Ajay.
Hi, Ajay. I have shared 2 questions in the chat, if you could kindly look at it. And I just wanted to ask you, when was your recent call made to DMV, California?
Okay, so I am, there's a lot going on in the chat. So if you can just maybe just recite the question, that'll be good. I didn't understand your last question on when was the last call made to the DMV. What does that mean?
When did you make a physical call yourself to a California DMV to know what it takes to get to reach DMV with all the statistics you shared earlier?
So I want to say
calls you are handling.
That was about a month ago, but my goal was to get to the automated part of it. So I didn't talk to the live agent because I didn't want to waste their time. So through the automation channel, I mean, I do this work every day because we do work on automation. We have integrated automation with robotic process automation as well. So it can actually run robots and things like that too. So that's really once in a while, I actually myself try things out when they're actually production wise. So I want to say last one probably was like 30 days ago. Through our DMV number.
Did you reach anybody on the call, please?
I did. That's what I said. I did not ask for live agent. I went to the service that I wanted to check out that was automated.
Okay. Now, I would like to ask you the 2 questions. One, what are the metrics, how the Gen AI, the recent introduction that you have made, has helped a common average American, not a Gen AI, who doesn't access computers, who are like, you have to look at not only the Gen Z and kind of the young kind of generation, you also look at everybody. That is how you are serving to the whole population of all ages, of all types. So I understand it is going to help Gen Z who are mostly on the computers. What is and how is that Gen I going to address the other kind of common American population who doesn't?
Yeah, of course. We don't forget about anybody, right? So if you look at the bell curve, our 18 to 21-year-olds, and then 21 to 25, and then 25 to 40, and then 40 to 62, and then 62 to 70, and 70 onwards. That's our cohort that we kind of work with. Most of our customers are in the 25 to 40 range at this point in time in California. Most as in the highest number. So if you look at the bar chart, they are the ones standing out. Then we have aging population above 70 as well. So we have to provide different channels. Like for example, there is a particular reason why our omni-channel bots are there on voice channel as well, because the 70 years and older, some of them although I gotta say 70 years and older are still on social media and doing things on their phone. So therefore, we know that they can use the phone, but still we have voice channels that provide the same services to them. But having said that, I want to tell you a little bit of a story in next 10 seconds, which is for the personalized plates. It was not about Gen Zers or anybody else. It was about optimizing back office problems. We had a 9-month backlog for personalized plates. So if you gave a personalized plates, it's going to be like almost a year before you got it. It was pretty bad. We were highly impacted, and it kind of got cascaded with COVID, got worse, and that's where we were. So when we introduced the pre-screening, we reduced the bad requests by 23% right off the bat. It didn't even reach the technicians. After that, we reduced the time further for per transaction because it required 2 reviews, one by the technician, one by a second reviewer. That second reviewer was the Gen AI technology, and that reduced the time further for us. And then we had bots running. So it reduced interaction time by almost 75% in terms of, I don't have number of seconds. Jothi actually was the one who helped me, so he might know the details of it. But in general, 75% was reduced. Now, today, we are current, and current is somewhat relative because we get those license plates manufactured by prison industry, and it does take up to 30 days for those to arrive and shipped. But that's all there is to it, right? So a couple of weeks plus the 30 days instead of the 9 months that were there. That's the impact to all Californians, whoever wanted that particular service, not just Gen Zers in the mix. So that's an example where we are servicing everybody. Same is true for mobile driver's license. It's for everybody. In fact, if I looked at the mobile driver license distribution chart, it's mostly the people that are in 25 to 60 range, not the Gen Zers and earlier, because they don't travel as much and the other ones do, and that's how our distribution works. So we really try to have equitable access to all the services and try to look at behaviors of the various age groups and try to cater to it.
Thank you. And one last question. I was just trying to understand the core and the prime user journey that you used to implement the Gen I before you even strategized planning for what you need to do on Gen I for DMV. What is that core primary kind of journey that you used? Just briefly, if you can narrate that, please. What are the core kind of things that you looked at as a primary user journey mapping for getting into what is needed? How Gen I can address these kind of issues?
So a journey mapping does not necessarily focus on Gen AI particularly, because Gen AI is means to an end, right? Getting an answer, getting a service. So from our user journey mapping, like for an online user looking for certain services for a certain persona, we would have interactions like, well, they may choose a live chat, or they may choose a chat first, and then it'll take them to live chat. And then the technician may use Gen AI, or then customer eventually may be punted to conversational AI to get the particular answers and collect the data before they get to the technician. So in general, our design patterns that we have today related to the user journeys, they are not changing for our customers. They are changing for our employees though. Like we have introduced AI, and then when we introduce Gen AI, which has explainability attached to it, we have less work to do and we can ask the technician to trust the particular explainability that's provided. So it's really, let's call it small tweaks to the existing user journeys for our employees. There are very little tweaks to the customer journey because of Gen AI today. Because for the most part, conversational AI is providing the same, except now there is less maintenance to do, there is less modifications to do, and we have updated content available for a Q&A bot style things. And then for the pre-screening type of things, it's not changing anything to them except it's an accept or a reject. They don't know that AI did the work. It might very well be a human or a business rules engine. It doesn't matter to them. So therefore, there is no change to the journeys for those folks, not yet anyways, if that makes sense.
Thank you. And from your experience being in the industry, when do you think the weak AI is going to become strong? What is the time frame that one can look forward for, the AI becoming strong, then it overtakes the kind of human thinking? What is the time frame we are left with so people can understand how long they have continuity in their existing job cycles and so on?
Yeah, it's the I want to say it'll be an opinion if I share that with you. There is a pretty good study by a Stanford professor, which I can share afterwards, on what he believes based on the data that has been collected and the human behavior and the automation on what that is going to be. He's very aggressive, though, in my mind. It's not as bad. I mean, it is going to impact jobs. There is no question about it. In a good way in sometimes. And I started with that particular quote that it's going to augment human creativity. It's not going to be able to replace it, not anytime soon. Here's a good one. I was reading a New York article, all these large language models that are consuming the knowledge of the world, so to say, they're running out of data to consume. Why? Because now the people whose data they were consuming, they have put in safeguards, so they can't consume them anymore. And therefore, their knowledge is going to start getting limited. And people are going to industrialize even the ingestion of that knowledge as well. It's no longer free. Give me all the Google data, and I am going to build these models. These LLMs cannot improve unless data is fed into it. And that's an extremely important part. That's going to be one of the biggest hurdles. So it's going to slow down the pace of the Gen AI type of technologies getting smarter quick. Keep in mind, it's still based on human creativity. It has to start somewhere. If we get complacent that humans have really put all the information that's ever out there now, all you're doing is deriving, because Gen AI is derivative. It is not coming up with its own brand new ideas. It's based on old ideas. I mean, it's coming up with new ideas, one could say, but they're a mishmash of old ideas. It's not discovering theory of relativity, for example, right? It's merely looking at what's out there, combining the two, and finding the obvious, which a human would find as well. So I think it's going to remain in augmented technology in many cases. In my mind, things like robotic process automation is a bigger threat to the jobs than actual some of these aspects which are merely going to augment the creativity part of it. It will take some jobs away for sure, but in a bad way too. If you know the Microsoft's MSN, I think there was an article that came out, it collated, I think it was in Australia or New Zealand, maybe, I can't remember now, but that Gen AI generated article with misinformation was sitting there for a day on MSN, I believe. And that was bad, right? So it's going to challenge, just like anything bad, it's going to challenge the status quo. But once again, there is no magic here. It's algorithms, and algorithms need data. Algorithms need love and care to improve. And that's going to continue to be the case.
Thank you very much, sir. Very kind of you. And thanks for all the knowledge you shared. And we also are hearing in the last 2 weeks or so that Gen AI or AI is, trying to scale down, and some senior scientists who are core behind the AI kind of intelligence developments in Microsoft and Google kind of FANG companies are leaving, expecting that, some kind of news is
But
all
Reddy, I can
circulating
tell you
in.
this idea is out there. People who worry about ethics will, but not all the world does. If you look at other countries, which obviously some of the biggest populated countries who don't care about maybe some of the ethics of going for it, like human cloning and privacy and other things are not as important or interesting to them, they will continue to make progress in this regard. So the cat is out of the bag.
Thank
Just
you.
keep that in
I
mind.
took little time because you are the industry expert. You have the first-hand information. So I thought that will be helpful for all the kind of viewers and listeners on this call and in the event. So thank you. It was very humble for you to share it very patiently. Thank you very much and very kind of you. Thanks for all the knowledge.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. Thanks.
Hi, Ajay. No, just wanted to take this opportunity to thank, right? Because again, DMV is one of those departments that's been a joke and in media and stuff, but seeing a lot of improvement there, it's really very encouraging. And thanks for sharing the knowledge. Also, again, I've heard a lot of good things happening. Like, for example, somebody recently told me that what used to take months for us to actually get the HOV stickers is taking just a week, right? So things like that, all those improvements.
That's another
So
success
thank you.
story.
It looks like a lot of things are going in the back end. So good to know that that's very encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Ajay.
Yeah.
All right, Ajay. 1 second, there's some echo.
Yeah.
Okay, Ajay, can you hear us?
Yes, again. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Ajay. Ajay, thank you so much for taking some time. I know you extended your time. We really appreciate that. And also very politely answering all the questions that the audience had. So one thing that I can tell, I had experience in public sector. When Ajay and myself started working, we had an experience in public sector in 1999, 98, 1999 onwards. So that time I had a different perspective on public sector. That means how things work. But Ajay completely changed the perspective. He turned DMV into more of an innovation hub. He brings ideas, he brings thoughts, correct? It's almost like working in a company like.
Did we lose?
No audio, please.
Not hearing anything.
Sorry, no picture, no sound, please.
How things works in the real world, how a public entity like DMV is using generative automation intelligence. It's very helpful. Thank you, Ajay. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so with that said, we are going to move on to our regular agenda. The senator is coming, correct?
Yeah, 10:45.
So we have another guest speaker. The senator is coming for just to give a quick introductory speech about the event as well as the Gen AI. But we can go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. Give me a minute. Is Resolved? Are they able to hear? No. That is fine. Those are all understandable. Not a problem. Yes. No worries. No worries. Sure. All right. I hope you all able to get to see my screen.
No, we cannot see any screen, please.
Okay, 1 second. Let me find out what's going on here. No, it's there. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I hope you are able to see now.
Yes,
Yeah, now-
yes.
Okay, please make sure your phone is in mute. It's really important. All right. If you are able to hear us in the Zoom.
Jothi, we also see the kind of notes besides the slide, just for your.
Yeah, Jothi, just go to display settings on the top and switch the, yeah. We see like the current slide, previous, next slide, no notes, whatever.
ಅವನಿಗೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ போட்டுட்டு ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ பண்ணுங்க yeah good yeah
Perfect, good.
Okay, all right. Yes, finally we are here. Okay. First of all, once again, we want to thank you all taking some time to come and attend the session. I know it's not an easy task on the weekend. We truly appreciate that. So let's move on. So the title says industrialization of Gen AI for career transition and sustainability. So that is the focus. The entire session, it's purely industry focused. Okay, I do want to set and manage expectation. And two aspects. Why do we want to focus on industry? So understanding the reality, it's different than watching any YouTube video or reading some material on Google, somewhere here and there, correct? It is not structured. So much out there, but where do we start? What action I should be taking? What course I should be taking? Is it worthwhile, correct? So I did thought courses at MIT. Like one time I had 800 students, correct? The course that I got, and that's the course actually connected me to this program. I wouldn't know anything about the Bay Area Tamil Mandram. Ramesh, he's not here. His wife was my student. So I was teaching at MIT AI for executives, 800 students, correct? Imagine you are standing in front of 800 audience teaching a class. So she found my name, Periasamy. She asked me, am I Tamil? I said, I do Tamil speak. So that is how she connected me to this program. So the point what I'm trying to say, there are a lot of great institutions, a lot of great material, but is that helps people to who have no knowledge about artificial intelligence, correct? I have no idea. How do we get started? Okay, so the focus more on industry. So that's what I'm talking here. So our focus, just a second. So the objective is understand how does generative artificial intelligence apply in businesses, correct? Like what Ajay was talking about, DMB. So that could be just one part of look at it. So there are many ways to look at it, correct? So understand and to develop a framework or an architecture to build applications, correct? So that is the real need, correct? Not necessarily going deep into math, science and all, we'll touch that too. So second, like how do we, if we want to advance our career, correct? Where do we start? Okay, so these are all very basic fundamental questions very much everybody's asking when you go and talk to any events, correct? Like, so people ask these questions commonly. So that is why I structured this program very specifically to focus. One is help you understand how does it work in industry. That is number one priority. Number two, how do we take this forward, correct? Because everybody's saying that I need to learn AI, I need to learn data science, I need to learn machine learning. Where do we start, correct? So these are the two fundamental questions, whether you are a student or a working professionals or a housewife, no matter who you are, correct? These questions are keep popping up, correct? So how do we address these two? And that is why we want to structure this entire program for the 2 days. It's going to be focused on this one. All right. So what is the day one is going to look like? I am a very visual person. I don't like reading a lot of material, correct? Abstract concept irritates me. I don't want to deal all these things, correct? Mathematical equation, y equal to mx plus c. How does this going to help to solve some problem for me? I do need to know, but it doesn't mean that, correct? If I go out and tell my clients that I'm going to solve y equal to mx plus c, that will not go to fly in front of a customer. I need to solve that problem. Solving the problem means they should see the value of AI. How do you make people to understand the value of AI? You build demos, show them quick values, correct? So the entire session is going to be focused on heavy on demo, correct? There is a lot of demos, which is basically going to help you understand. Then we go to the concepts, correct? It's going to be balanced between demo and lecture. So today we're going to understand the fundamentals of generative artificial intelligence. Behind the scene, how does the large language model works? Then what's the difference between traditional artificial intelligence and generative AI, correct? Okay. So again, there are some technical challenges. Okay. Yes. So we do want to understand the difference between traditional AI and generative AI. Reason? So I'm heavily involved in education. A lot of people come and ask, can I start learning data science? Can I start learning Python? Can I start learning machine learning? Correct? These questions are there. In the world of generative AI, do I really need to learn data science? Correct? The Gen AI could analyze data much different than what it could do. Correct? You have BI tools like Power BI, Tableau. These tools are there. Correct? So you bring data from different sources and try to analyze. That is no longer needed. Correct? The Gen AI could analyze just in a fraction of seconds. Correct? So there is a trend in industry. Do I have to focus on traditional artificial intelligence where I can build models and train, test, deploy? Or can I take a pre-trained model and work on it? Okay? So we do need to understand the difference between traditional artificial intelligence and generative AI. That is another focus. Nowadays, people talk about interacting with the model on a natural language, correct? The language what you speak, okay? You don't need to be a SQL expert. You don't have to be a Python programmer. You don't have to be a technical expert to deal with complex deep learning models. You can interact with prompts, okay? Understanding the prompt, it's also an important skill if you want to travel in this journey, okay? So these are all purely driven from industry. From when you go on to work for a job, these are the things people expect from you. So we are going to focus on the industry point of view, how prompt engineering works, okay? Like I said, you could find so many material, but how does it work in the real world? That you don't find a lot of places, correct? We are going to focus on. The other thing plays a key role building these kind of solution, vector database, correct? So what we have seen Oracle, we have seen Microsoft SQL Server, we have seen DB2, correct? So these are all traditional database management system what we have seen, but now the industry is leading towards more on a vector database, correct? So when you do search, select star from table, that just return the static outcome. It doesn't have any intelligence built in. This provides intelligence. What it means, similarities, correct? So how do we get all the similarities together, correct? So it enables you to perform similarity searches, correct? So we do need to understand vector database. So you're going to focus on this one. The last one, again, like Ajay was talking about, responsible AI. If something goes wrong, who's responsible, right? If you go and ask ChatGPT something that it shouldn't be doing when it's doing, who's responsible? How do you make people accountable, correct? So there are certain practices people need to understand as a company. If you are trying to implement artificial intelligence or generative AI, there are certain practices you need to build. Responsible AI, ethical AI, correct? So all these things really important. We are going to touch that too. So that's the focus today. And in terms of demo, we're going to focus on start with how we, as a company that I am involved, how we use Gen AI from educational perspective. And then retail and consumer space, correct? Like, so call centers, correct? How does it work actually? And human resource, how could they use using? These are all use cases that I am personally worked on, correct? Projects that I'm worked on, correct? That's what I'm bringing here actually. And we talked about conversational intelligence, correct? Conversational intelligence means you are interacting with the system like a human, correct? You don't know the other side is a human or a machine, but you get the same response as a human, correct? So that's a conversational state, correct? So the question that you asked in the, let's say the conversation going for 10 minutes, the question you asked in minute 1 could be referenced in minute 10. So it knows the status, correct? It maintains the states and it tells you this one, conversational intelligence. So we're going to focus on all these demos today, okay? Equally balanced video, like I said, without demo, this will be dry, very attacked. You will definitely lose interest, for sure, because I'm teaching almost every day, right? So that is why we want to balance a demo as well as the concept and things that happen around it. Okay, in day 2, we wanted to focus on the people talk about a lot of things about RAG, retrieval augmented generation, correct? So that's an application that people tend to build a lot in this space right now because it's quickest way to show value to business, correct? So how do we bring this new trend of multi-model RAG? That means the model is not just only works with the text-based data, it also works with the other data such as image, voice, videos, and etc. So we do want to help you understand. So if we want to scale this to an enterprise, we can't just go and build building blocks. We need a framework. What's the framework? LangChain. Right? I'm not saying that's the only framework. There are other frameworks too, but industry-wise, it's quite popular. A lot of people use this one. Like we have seen .NET framework. We have seen J2E framework. Right? These are all frameworks let you build applications. Similarly, LangChain let you build LLM-based applications, correct? Large language model-based applications. So we do want to touch this one. And then my goal today, correct? How much you learn, like what I want you to get out. I want you to get out what is involved to build an application, correct? So we do have a lab for you to work on, correct? So the lab is going to be very focused on a particular use case that we work for a manufacturing company, correct? I have given to you as it is, correct? With code and everything. So I want you to learn and practice and build by yourself, correct? You don't have to be a Python expert. It's already coded, okay? So it's already coded. It uses OpenAI GPT model. It uses LangChain. The model is built, deployed, applications up and running, which you'll get to see quickly. And then I'm giving you everything that is involved with a step-by-step instruction. Follow and understand, build by yourself, correct? So the goal is to, how much we learn in 2 days, it's questionable, correct? But when you get to see something in your hand, correct? You feel I'm touching. I'm feeling something that it's coming together, correct? So that is a feel we want to make you understand and walk away, correct? Beyond, sky is the limit. Whatever you want to do, you could do, correct? So the need right now, based what we have seen in industry, people who can build automation, okay? Really not going deeper into research space, correct? Like, a lot of people think, oh my God, I need a PhD. Oh my God, I need an advanced degree. None. Who has real solid skill to build automation? When I say automation, using all these various technologies, correct? Where it could be generative AI, large language model, LangChain, RAG, whatever it is, correct? So how do we use all these technologies, build intelligent automation? That's the real key. So that is what I'm trying to accomplish with you for the next 2 days, correct? So you don't have to memorize, you don't have to do anything. So follow these steps and instructions given for you in day 2, and try to replicate this by yourself. So we have given all the access to you, correct? So we have given our OpenAI access to you, and we also given our Google Cloud access to you. So that's the lab that you're going to work on, the day 2. So day 2 is more for connecting all the dots, get a visual view, correct? So this is how applications are built, and this is how it's going to look, correct? So that is what we want to do actually. All right, so and the day 2, we have a heavy on demo as well. So we have a demo for public services, like how generative AI used in government sectors, okay? And then manufacturing. So this is a company, worldwide manufacturing company. So that company wants us to build a product catalog. That means if you are trying to search for a product, the product could be across the world anywhere, correct? It is not a one place where it is, correct? Because the company is a worldwide operation. So how do you search product catalog worldwide and see which country can deliver you very quickly? So that is done voice, text, image. That means you can speak to the system. You can throw an image, like you are a technician, you're on the field, you're throwing an image, the system takes the image and then try to find out where this product is available. Or you can send a video. Or you can put in a voice, correct? I don't have time to do all those things. I'm going to speak to the system. It takes my voice and then looks for the product catalog. So that's the manufacturing. So it's a product search and conversational response for product catalog across the world, worldwide operations. Okay. So it connects various systems. It connects backend systems, tables and things like that actually. So that's a live use case. That's what I'm going to give you as a practice. So that's one thing you do. Okay. So then we also want to understand some of the functions around long chains, like how it is going to be worked. There are some certain demos around that actually. They're going to focus on this one. So this is the focus for the next 2 days. Okay. All right. So like I talked about, like, so the lab that we are going to work on, actually, it's going to be more focused on the multi-model RAG. I will show you the demos so you can get to understand. So that application, it's going to be voice, text, image based. That means you can interact once you build the application, that application let you interact with the voice as well as the text, as well as the image actually. Okay. So that's the one I talked about manufacturing. And I do want to manage expectation. Okay. As I already told you, the expectation here, not solving complex mathematical equation, not going deeper into academic side of it, right? Not getting into very scientific research oriented discussion, none, correct? If that is what it is, this cannot be the right place for you, correct? So we have an audience with a different background. Somebody knows AI, somebody doesn't have any AI, somebody have no IT background. So we have a mix of audience. We want to make sure actually we set and manage the expectation. So our sole focus is industry, I already told you, correct? So focus is industry and practical approach solving problems, right? So those are the things we are going to focus on. So there's no way that we can go into deeper discussion on how this works behind the scene, which is really not required, correct? Because I'm heavily involved in industry side. Based on my experience, it is not required. All industry is looking for who can quickly solve problems, who can build automation, who can understand the technology, correct? That's where it's coming down to right now, correct? So it is not in a research space anymore. Okay, so what is the key takeaway? Give you on-the-job learning experience, correct? How do you, if you are working in a field, correct? I need to get that same feeling here. That is what it's going to happen, correct? So giving an on-the-job learning experience. Second is architecture and framework to build applications, correct? So what kind of architecture I can use? What kind of framework I can use? How do I build my own framework, correct? Those are the things actually. And of course, we are looking for a career advancement, correct? So we want to change what we do to a different space or advance ourselves, correct? So what is the pathway to get there? Correct? So these are the key takeaways, correct? Number one, bring learning experience more towards industry, on-the-job experience. Second, the toolkits what you need to get started for building an applications, architecture and framework. Third, I want to advance myself in this space. Where do I start? Correct? So those are key takeaway based on this session. And we do have other industry speakers. You already have, listen to Ajay's. There are two other speakers coming actually. So one is, they both are coming in tomorrow. So they're going to talk about from their perspective. So they're coming from Oracle. So, okay. So they're going to be here tomorrow to share how Oracle is using generative AI, right? Especially for their customer as well as the internal use cases and things like that they're going to talk about. Okay, I'm going to skip this. And this is the team. Unfortunately, they're not able to join. There are some technical challenges that we are having. So they are in the call to support you all for the lab, correct? In case if you run into some problems, if you're not able to follow, so I asked them to join. So this is a team that I have. So they're going to join to support you. So like I said, there are some technical issues. They couldn't be able to join the call, this one. And this is another person I want to acknowledge. She's been this effort for us to pull this program together. It's been started last 2 months, correct? So we are working very quite intensely. Like I said, to build all these demos and everything, it's not an easy thing, correct? Like I said, it's not an abstract concept. We want to make it feel live, correct? So we put a lot of effort. So I asked my daughter to coordinate all these things. So she did this one actually. So she's here as well. And to get to know about me, I do have my personal website. You can check it out, right? So at UC, I teach. And then I also do other work, right? I do consulting work, and I also do some startup work as well, actually, right? So it's my personal website. If you want to get to know me, it's there. And we do a lot of community projects, okay? Our passion is education. Beyond what we do for Bay Area Tamil Mandram, worldwide we do community education. So in Sri Lanka, we are providing education for 1,500 rural students. That means where you don't see electricity, water, even for some cases, correct, like, leading their life on a day-to-day basis is very difficult. So for such families, around 27 centers, correct? That means rural places, we formed a 27 center. We are offering AI training for them. it's a 9-month program. So that is basically like, focused on 6 months working on learning, and then 3 months on projects and stuff like that. So we are doing this kind of community work. So we're heavily involved in community. I'm just trying to say that one. So thank you. And this is some of the work we do. We write books, publish articles, so we can get to know us at Amazon, Google. So we wrote a book recently on prompt engineering. It's there. And we also wrote a book on, people talk so much about ChatGPT, but it's really not a model, it's a product. So we want to demystify that. How do you use that from an enterprise point of view? It's not asking question. How do you take such platform and build applications for enterprise? And we also wrote a book on conversational intelligence, because that itself is a mystery for people to understand. So there are a lot of books we publish. You could get to see them. And this is some of the work that we do with organizations. So companies whom teach, we help them to build their talent. So these are the companies that currently be involved, but the deepest level, deepest level, correct? So now so that's just an introduction to set the stage to get to know us actually. So now we are getting into generative artificial intelligence, correct? So how do we start? Like I said, I do want to start with the demo, correct? Make you feel understand when people say generative AI, what exactly it does, correct? So I'm going to use more towards the education that I'm involved, how we use generative AI, correct? So it's a demo that I'm going to bring up. You can get to see how it is applied in a real educational system, correct? So give me a minute. I'm just going to bring the application. Just a second. The application is loading. If you attended my previous session somewhere, you may have got to know this one. I'm just going to help everybody to understand how we are using in educational space generative AI. All right. So there is a product behind the scene. I'm not bringing the entire products. I'm just sharing the demo version of it so that you will get to see. So this is a application built for helping faculties, teachers, students to learn better at a personalized level. So that means the current education that we are in, if a class of 100 students, all 100 students get the same question. All 100 students get the same assessment, but there's a learning disparity, correct? Not everybody is at the same level of learning. Somebody must doing really well, somebody's okay, somebody's poor. When you have such challenges in the learning process, how could you give the same educational material? So that is how we were thinking that I was at MIT, we were thinking about how do we personalize this one? And that is where we started building this product. Look, it's actually a product, but I'm not bringing the product. I'm just trying to show you how does it applied in education, okay? All right, so it gives functions like, for example, if you want to generate question, okay? So how do we generate questions? If I want to create content, how do we create content? If I want to do an assessment, correct? The students are done. All this behind the scene done in AI, okay? So let me see if I can able to get this one. So it's asking me, so what I'm trying to do, I'm asking the model, behind the scene, generative AI, okay? I'm asking the model, give me questions that I want to conduct an assessment for student. And these questions are completely random in nature. And we can tell what level we want to go. We have classified at 3 levels: foundation, intermediate, advanced. So the question will be mixed. And this is on an LMS platform. It means when the student logs in, the model knows the level of learning for the student. If somebody's okay, the question will be very foundational level. Same content will be the same. If the students are okay, then it could be an intermediate level. The students are really performing well, the question will be a bit advanced, correct? So the model knows all of those things. Since I'm not using the actual product, I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm just telling how do we generate questions at personalized level. Means based on how you learn and your ability to answer questions will be determined based on the model, correct? The model determines this one. So it's asking me, I'm going to select the file upload. That means it is asking, give me the text I want to use as a source to generate the question. It could be your textbook, entire textbook. It could be a PDF file. It could be a website. It could be anything. It could be an audio, video, whatever you want to do, that's fine. We can take all, okay? It is not only a text file. For a demo purpose, I'm taking this one. So I'm just going to locate the text file. Just a second. Yes. So this is a text file I'm giving for the model to understand what is inside the text actually. Do I want a preview? Yes. Okay, so now I'm giving the model a set of text to read and understand. Like I said, this could be audio, this could be a video, this could be even the entire PDF file, textbook, whatever you have, correct? It could be anything. It is not limited to only the text what I'm giving to here. It could be anything. So now it is asking what kind of question I want to generate. It could be fill in the blanks, multiple choice, true or false. These are all demo purpose. It could be any type of question that you want to generate. So I'm saying fill in the blanks. So now I'm ready to interact with the model. Okay. So behind the scene, we have our model, right? So when I say model, that's something we built, right? So like you see OpenAI, Google Spam, like this, we have our own model that we built, optimized just for our product purpose, correct? But behind the scene, it uses Gen AI architecture, everything. So now I have the model ready. I have given the input. I'm asking the model to generate a question. When I submit this one, on the top, you could see it's running. It generates a question. So these questions, like I said, it 3 level it generates: foundation, intermediate, advanced level, based on how the students are going to perform. Since I'm not inside the product, I wouldn't be able to demonstrate this one. That is our done. So it personalizes the learners based on the learner's interest, the questions and assessment completely personalized, correct? So now I can download this one. Okay, so this is basically the, just a second. So this is the question that I asked the model to generate. It generated the question. So you could see questions by LLM based on the provided content. So whatever content you provided, it generated the question. Okay. So these questions, like I said, it could be based on any form. So that is why it's called generative artificial intelligence. It generates the content. So content could be anything, correct? Content is not only text-based. Content could be anything, correct? So in this case, if a teacher has to read a 100-page book, it will take at least 1 week for the teacher to read, correct? And the teacher may or may not know the subject well enough, correct? If somebody is teaching linear equation, doesn't mean they know everything in mathematics, correct? They may have a PhD, correct? But getting to know a subject, correct, it takes longer time. Here, it's just a fraction of seconds. So this is how generative AI behind the scene works. So let's say I'm not interested in this. I wanted to create other type of assessment. So now I'm going back to the model. Yes. If you could give me some time, I'll finish the demo, then I will do it actually. So now let's say I don't want the content still remain the same, right? I have not changed the content. I'm going to change my question type. I want multiple choice. I don't want fill in the blanks. I want to do a multiple choice. When I submit this one, this time the same model, if you could see how it's running on the top, it's going to generate a multiple choice questions. Again, here also it generates the text. That is why it's called generative artificial intelligence. It generates text in the form of what you want. Okay. So this is just make you understand how educational system currently advancing, how it's using. So don't think it's only for education. Any field that you could think of, whether it's a medical field or a legal professional, correct, or accounting field or a public services, correct. So whatever field you touch, all could be used, these type of technologies, correct? So this is letting you to build content in a fraction of a second with even 1,000 pages of content. If you want to create, you can create just like that, correct? With intelligence built in. So now this time, I believe it's still running. Yes. So it generated the question. This time I'm asking for multiple choice questions. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this one. So here it is, 1 second. So this is the multiple choice question that I asked for. The contents will remain the same. So this time I asked for multiple choice question. It generates some multiple choice questions, correct? So this is how you could apply artificial intelligence, generative AI in any field that you could think of. Now let's say I don't want content. I wanted, I don't want assessment. I want build content. That means I want to teach some subject, or I want to write about some article, correct? So how do I build content for this one? So this is, I'm going to generate content. Okay, so here I'm generating content. So what content I want, it's asking the topic that you are interested in. Any topic you could give. So once we take the topic, what we do a lot of pre-processing. I'll explain to you. Let's say I want to build a content for data science. I want to teach data science, but I don't have a content. I don't have a material to give to the student as a handout, correct? So how can build content using generative AI, correct? So here, I'm not asking the model to create an assessment. I'm asking the model to create a content that I want to give it to my student as a handout, or as an instructor, I want to use as my notes to teach some classes, correct? So here, the model is going to take this as an input. Okay, so this is all, that's all I'm doing for the model. It's going to generate content. When I do generate content, what we do behind the scene, based on the topic that is involved, we divide subtopics. Okay, data science is very broad, correct? There are so many things involved. So obviously we can't build content. So that involves understanding about data structure. That involves understanding about data analysis. That involves understanding about EDA, exploratory data analysis. So like this, you have many different ways to look at the content, correct? So it's going to take some time. It's still building the content. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I believe the senator is here. I may have to stop, correct? Okay, sure, no problem. So we'll continue this once the senator's speech is over, okay? I'm going to stop here.
Thank you. Thank you, Jothi. The Honorable Thank you. So, Honorable Senator Aisha Wahab is here.
Yeah.
So, Bay Area Tamil Nadu President, she gonna honor her, and she gonna give a small speech. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Do you have any question? Do you hear me? Okay. Good morning, our Senator Aisha Wahab. On behalf of our Bay Area Tamil Mandram and our community partner AIA, we have great pleasure in welcoming and introducing Senator Aisha Wahab to the grand occasion focused on artificial intelligence. Just a few words of encouragement from Senator Aisha Wahab's life. Senator Wahab is a woman who has faced many challenges. She has experienced poverty, and unemployment, witnessed violence and the loneliness of losing her parents at an early age. She understands the struggles that many people in our society face. Despite these hardships, Senator Wahab continues her work in public service by assisting seniors, women, and children. No matter what challenges you face, don't give up. We can all achieve our goals. We are proud to say that Senator Aisa Wahab is the first African American woman elected to public office in the United States. I would like to welcome our Professor Rajesh and our former convener, our former EC, Abu Khan, to honor Senator Aisa Wahab.
We also have Tamil Mandram sponsors, few sponsors on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AA community partners, please come on the stage. Ramesh Kondaji.
Yeah, we don't come. Yes, no.
Thank you all. I would like to welcome our Senator Aisa Wahab. Few words, please. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for having me. My name's Aisha Wahab. I'm the representative for this district, and I'm very proud to be your state senator. And specifically, thank you. And I will say the Tamil community, for the most part, was an early supporter of mine, and I'm very proud of that. I've had folks in my campaign office asking, how else can we help you? And you know, this job is very difficult. And I think that some of you guys are familiar with my work from last year. We still get a lot of questions about our legislation. And the concept is that for me, I always want to make sure that people are taken care of. First and foremost, you know, when we come to this country, and I'm the daughter of refugees, we are to be treated equally. We are to be treated based on what we can do, not based on our religion, not based on our family, not based on anything but who we are and what we can do in this country. And that's the beauty of America. That's the American dream of why so many people come to this country. That's the end all be all. We see that in this democracy, we can still make change, positive change. And I will say that the work that I did last year was eye-opening to so many Americans. And people in the legislature said, the work that you're doing, I don't think that we need it. You know, people are already protected. And I tell people all the time, I represent one of the most diverse communities in the nation. And the more diverse we become, the deeper we have to protect people. Because there are things that people don't see, that aren't mainstream. And we try to work to make sure that every single person, specifically the most vulnerable community members, feel protected and supported. And even today, you guys are having an AI summit, and I want to say that AI is a powerful tool. And I worked in technology before I was elected as a state senator. And so I understand how difficult it is, one, to compete with other people for jobs, but then also with the ever-changing technology. And I will say this year in the state Senate, we finally started using iPads. So I want to say how far behind we are in the state legislature. But I'm very encouraged in, the advancement of AI, but also ensuring that we protect people, because that is the number one thing that I care about. And I introduced legislation, SB 926, Stop the Online Predators Act this year, that expands the current revenge porn by prohibiting unauthorized images of artificially created explicit images that cause emotional distress. And we know it's our young women that usually have to deal with this, as well as SB 933, AI Child Safety, which prohibits, again, the possession and distribution of explicit abusive images of children by clarifying images that are created through AI are prohibited. These are just updating the laws that we all agree with, protecting our children. And so we know AI is the direction technology is headed. It's actually technically not a new concept. We know that, right? And AI is just as powerful as the data that we put into it and the data that they are able to really go through. And so I, as your representative in the East Bay and South Bay, specifically representing Silicon Valley with a different background than is mainstream, I want to make sure that all of you guys were able to reach out to our office and highlight an issue that you guys care about. And I will tell you that my office is deeply concerned with the housing crisis, the massive layoffs that we are seeing in this area, right? And what we can do to kind of make sure that we keep families housed, fed, and employed. That is our main priority. And as we protect more and more people, I want to say that we are a partner. As you guys have been a partner to me, I want to be a partner to you guys. And there is no fight, and I think you guys have seen it, that I won't be willing to take. So thank you. And I want to highlight this community specifically by honoring from the California State Senate, the Tamil community, the San Francisco Bay Area Tamil community, and offer up our office for the successful hosting of this AI generative workshop and all the work that you guys do. So thank you. Can I get the start? No, this one is fine. It's fine. No, this one is distracting. Can I get, yeah. Can I get the start, guys? Yeah. On the same on the someone on paper. Thank you. So I'm Julie. I'm the president of Bay Area Tamil Mandram, 4th woman president. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the meaningful speech. Thank you so much for your time and support our community. Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, the president of Varano. America, okay, wow. In the crowd, I mean it. Thank you. So now our sponsors time. So, kadama mukkiyam. Huh? Yes. Yeah, no. Thank you, Abu Khan brother, for coordinating with Senator Aisawaha and the manager. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now I will கூப்பிடுறேன். Okay. First one, I would like to welcome Ramesh Kondaji on the stage. Where is he? Thank you. Sorry for the technical difficulties. நம்மளோட கமலஹாசன் சொன்ன மாதிரி எனக்கு மெசேஜ்லயும் இமெயிலையும்
தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா கழுவி கழுவி ஊத்திக்கிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. எனக்கு உண்மையாவே வெறும் காத்து தான் வந்தது. அவ்வளவு ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் ஆயிட்டேன் காலையில. ஸோ இன்பர்சனா இருக்கிறது ஈஸியா இருக்கு. அந்த ஜூம்ல கனெக்ட் பண்ண கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்டிஸ் இருந்தது. இப்ப ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. தேங்க்யூ. Thank you, Ramesh Konda ji, for all your emergency support with passport and visa services to BATM on behalf of AIA. Now, where is Daya brother? Now, I would like to welcome our former EC, former President Daya PV, and former Vice President Ramesh Satyam. So our current Vice President Govind Kobal to honor Ramesh Konda ji. தமிழ் மன்றம் எப்பவுமே சர்ப்ரைஸ் கொடுத்துட்டே இருப்போம். I would like to welcome Ramesh Kuppusamy on the stage.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
I think in the Zoom we can hear you, probably in the stage or.
Yeah, so they're not sharing the screen actually, right? So
selectively they selectively they're not
தமிழ் மன்றத்துல தன்னார்வ தொண்டு செய்யறதுல ஒரு தனி மனுஷியா ஆகிற பெனிஃபிட் ஒரு நல்ல மனுஷனை சந்திச்சது. தேங்க்யூ தயா பிரதர் ஃபார் இன்ட்ரோடியூசிங் மீ ரமேஷ் கொண்டாஜி. ஃபார்மர் ஈஸினா அப்படி இருக்கணும். புதுசா வர்றவங்க ஏதாவது சப்போர்ட் கேட்டா பண்ணணும். தேங்க்யூ சோ மச்.
தேங்க்யூ.
So,
hello everyone. Again, good morning or getting closer to the good afternoon now. Thank you so much from bottom of my heart to Bay Area Tamil Mandram. This is a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting. I was part of the class, but it's
community partner.
Yes. Thank you so much, Juliet ji and the whole team here. It's a great honor and privilege to be part of the team here. As Juliet ji said, the community is very important. Obviously, education, job, everything is part of our life. So the community service, what the team is doing here today, is a great honor and great service to entire community, not only Tamil, but also all Indian community, other people, whoever is in the community. So please give them a big round of applause. And if I can take 30 seconds about AIA. Yeah. So Association of Indo-Americans, as I mentioned, it's a coalition of 48 plus different organizations: Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Hindi, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, everything. And Tamil Mandam is a big group, and you see here, it's a large group, and we had Ramesh Satyamurthy is here, right? I think maybe he's outside talking, but Dayaji is there from the day one with the AIA, and Ramesh Kuppusamy, and please come on to the stage. I think I'll take and Venkat Kogan, Venkat Adusumalli, he's from Telugu Association. Please come on to the stage once. And Rajesh ji from the Nair Society, please come on to the stage. And Ramesh Satyamurthy, please come on to the stage once. And Ramadas, please come on to the stage from Shankarai Foundation. Viru, come on to the stage from BATA, Bay Area Telugu Association. So this all the team, we not only this team, but there are like 48 of organizations.
I will hold it.
Oh, thank you, Juliet. This is so kind of you. So there are 48 different organizations. We all come together and celebrate different events, and including educational events, cultural events, even political awareness events. This is a great forum for all the youngsters and community to take leverage. At the early stage, what you are getting is a great opportunity with the forum. So
from the AIA, there are few things. We don't want to take too much time, but I want to ask Rajesh ji. Rajesh. Rajesh. Oh, yeah, that Rajesh. Rajesh Nair from Nair Society. They are conducting a quiz competitions on August 10th. We are doing a Indian Independence Day. So the importance of Indian Independence Day or US democracy, democratic country, is very much you are experiencing today. Today we are so safe and freedom, empowered, and we see a lot of other countries going through a lot of struggles without not having the freedom and democracy. So please give ourselves a big round of applause. We are in a big democratic country, and we are able to, freely do whatever we empower to do it for the community and our families and our friends. So we are going to celebrate, we are celebrating on behalf of AIA on August 10th, Swadesh. Swadesh is Indian Independence Day. I would like to request Ramesh Satyamurthy to say a few words about it. And Satyamurthy is always a founding member of our AIA from the Tamil community.
Thank you, Ramesh Kondaji. Thank you, Bay Area Tamil Mandram, for conducting this wonderful event. I'm sure by today's session, you all go back with something that nobody can take it away from you, which is the knowledge about AI. And now we talk about AIA, which is AI for A. It just happened so coincidentally. So I'm proud to be part of the Association of Indo-American team on behalf of Tamil community representing. So we've been having this Swadesh celebration, which is the Indian Independence Day celebration, August 10th. And it's happening in the big city in Bay Area, which is city of San Jose. And this is the first year city of San Jose has given us permission to do the parade in the core downtown of city of San Jose. So we'd like to invite all of you, check it out on AI website. It's also on the social media. We have a lot of events planned. This will be more of a day and night type of event. We have a marketplace for every age group to enjoy the day, along with a lot of cultural event. So we request all of you to spread the word and come and join and celebrate the Swadesh, which is our Independence Day celebration in core downtown city of San Jose. We also get a good support from the city of San Jose council member and the mayors and the police department. So they're going to make it as a big event for us. And also the mainline medias are covering it. So it's going to be a grand event with a parade in the downtown and then followed by various cultural events and a nighttime marketplace where you can come and enjoy with your family. There'll be event for all age group to cover the whole day. So we will look forward to seeing you all at the parade and at the event. And let's go and celebrate the Swadesh. Thank you so much again, Bay Area Tamil Mandram, for giving this opportunity. And as Ramesh Kupasamy mentioned, we were served as a board member in the year 2018. And thanks to Jothi Periasamy for continuing to provide this community service, started almost 6-7 years ago. And I'm happy to see him be connected with our community and providing the knowledge sharing, which is so powerful to do that.
Jothi Periasamy on the stage.
So this is something, a relationship that we had as a friend started. Now he's just sharing his knowledge, wealth of knowledge. And he's also well connected with the education community, serving the community, as well as bringing the knowledge to our Tamil community and Bay Area also on. Pleasure again.
I want to thank Ramesh. His wife was the one connected me to this community. So I was telling you that I was teaching at MIT. His wife Guna was my student, and she was the one reached out to me by looked at my last name because I told you there's 800 students I had the whole class. So she reached out to me and asked me like, are you Tamil? I said yes. Then she was the one who introduced me to this Bay Area Tamil Mandram. We started with the 1 hour session. Then we have been continuing this almost every year for the last, I would say 5-6 years now.
7 years now.
Yeah. So thank you to Ramesh.
Yeah,
and his wife.
I mean, this is the power of network. That's what the whole main purpose of meeting today. I'm sure that there are about 100 people here. By the day 2 days ends, you'll make a new friends, new network, professionally connected. So carry that professional network moving ahead to advance your career as well as your professional network. So with that, wish you all, everyone a good luck. By the way, just for the record, I'm not an IT guy. I'm a civil engineer. So I do highway design, roadway design by all means. So if anything with the problem with the road, you can come and talk to me. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. One announcement on the AIA Swadesh. We are conducting a essay competition. So it has a first prize of $2,000. And this is for the 10th grade and 11th grade students who are going into the college. So we want to recognize them on the stage with a big certificate and also the cash prize, so that will help them into the college admissions and college education. Please participate in the essay competition. Again, as Satyamurthy said, on aiaevents.org, we have all the details. Thank you so much for your attention.
Again, now so all the kids here who are under 18 and who are here, and we are having a quiz competition just for you guys to get familiar with your parent country, India. The first prize is $250 and a certificate, and of course, recognition at the AA stage. The links are on the aaevents.org. The exciting prizes also. Please participate. Anyone under 18 is welcome to join. Thank you.
Thank you, AA, for the community partnership. நம்ம எல்லாரும் ஒற்றுமையா இருக்கணும். ஏன்னா இந்த வருஷம் என்னன்னா கம்யூனிட்டி பார்ட்னர்ஸ் நிறைய பேரோட கனெக்ட் பண்றது எதனாலன்னா நம்ம மெம்பர்ஸ்க்கு அப்பதான் சப்போர்ட் பண்ண முடியும்னு. ஆனா என்ன இருந்தாலும் நமக்கு ஸ்பான்சர்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம். ஸ்பான்சர்ஸ் இல்லாட்டி தமிழ் மன்றமே வாலண்டியர்ஸ் மெம்பர்ஸ் அதுக்கு ஒரு என்ன சொல்ல நம்ம உடல்ல ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு இதயம் மாதிரி ஸ்பான்சர்ஸ். அந்த ஸ்பான்சர்ஸை நம்ம இப்ப வெல்கம் பண்ண போறோம். We would like to welcome our BATM sponsor, CEO and founder of SFBATM, Aditya, Mr. Aditya, and invite COO Murali to the stage. Where is Murali? Okay. No one here. Okay, let's continue the session now. Where is Jothi? Come on, Jothi. தடங்களுக்கு வருந்துகிறோம். வந்துட்டேன். We would like to welcome our BATM sponsor, CEO and founder of SFBATM, Aditya, and invite COO Murali. Where is Dad? Okay. To the stage. We would like to invite Vice President Govind Kobal and our Vice President Cultural KR Srinivasan to honor our sponsor. KR Srinivasan, please come on the stage to honor our sponsor.
Okay, Juliet, that's okay. Our base draw.
Yeah.
That's all. Nobody else.
How's everyone feeling today? Good? So far the class good? Yeah. So introduce myself again. I'm Aditya Murali. I'm the founder and CEO of SFBATM. We are an AI fintech. We do have few investors like ICICI Bank, Bank of New York Mellon, etc. So we do have a good AI machine learning team. I hope for those of you learning, you guys pick up any skills. Feel free to reach out, whether you're looking for career opportunities here or figuring out what practical uses of AI is in space. There are several other co-founders that I always talk with, or founders of other companies that made their own LLMs that compete with ChatGPT, backed by Databricks, MongoDB. These guys are like 28, 29 guys I worked with. So yeah, anytime. I don't have 40 publications like them. I only have maybe 5 to 6 publications in machine learning. So if you guys want to actually understand how it looks like in a practical job environment, whether it's a startup or like Meta, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
இன்னும் எடுக்கல.
Thank you. The session continues now. We will have a lunch after the session break.
I will discuss with Jothi about break. Where is Jothi?
Jothi.
Oh, he's there.
He's taking picture.
So I want to break it to
1 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, if you want a chai or a water and vada, we have it. But we will have lunch break at 1 o'clock. The restroom is in the upstairs also. If downstairs is not working, there is one in the upstairs. Okay.
All right. I will make sure. Thank you. I know the lunch is at 1 o'clock. I will make sure the session is going to be very entertaining to you. Okay. You'll never feel that it is a boring session. You'll never get to feel that it is very raw, right? Like that's something that you don't know what's going on, correct? I will make sure actually you're well connected. You get engaged with the session till the lunchtime. Thank you. So Ramesh, my Zoom is expired. How do we connect to Zoom? Oh, yeah. Zoom, the audience on the Zoom. All right. So while this is going on, so during the break, some of the question was asked to me. I'm studying data science. Is this something going to be useful to me in my future career? I'm studying statistics. Is this going to be useful to me? So let me tackle this question. Data science, yes, it's a great skill, no question. But in the space of generative AI, I don't see a need for such skills. Reason being, right, as a data scientist, one is the focus on data, other side, focusing on machine learning, building models, training, testing, deploying models. That function, it's no longer needed. Why? The pre-trained model already has most of it what you need. You don't have to build model from scratch. You can take some of those pre-trained model and build on top of it. That is much cheaper, faster, and makes business to quickly realize values. If we take randomly 100 company who's doing projects on data science, ask these companies, how much value of this realized by business? I would say maybe 2 to 3%. That is how the current state of data science. People say your quality of data is not good. People say we have no idea, like how do we get this data? So these are the responses you currently get from the team that works on data science. Generative AI fixes all this problem. Number one, it's a pre-trained model. Number two, you don't have to physically move data. The concept of zero ETL becomes real. That means without moving data, how do you point to different data sources and pull data and extract insights, correct? If we look at that in a much broader perspective, the future for data science may or may not needed. This is just my perspective, how I see in industry. I may be wrong or I may be right, which I don't know. But if I were you, correct? My daughter asked me what I want to study. I said, don't study data science. CSAT. I told her it could be a better option to study cognitive science along with bio, correct? That touches human behavior, which is ultimately the case where we are heading towards, right? So if I have to pick a career for my kids or my side of it, I wouldn't go for data science. Again, it's my perspective. The way the industry is leading, the way things are happening, we don't have to build things from scratch. The biggest challenge was data. This large language model breaks that barrier, right? So that is one point. Second, somebody asked me, do I have to really study statistics, math to the deepest extent that I can understand how it works? Depends on where you want to focus. Like I said, the focus is more industry. These skills may not need it. Industry doesn't care about how much you know stats and math. Industry cares how quickly you can solve the problem and make business to realize the value that what you're trying to prove. So I told you that while Ajay was in the call, I'm helping them on 2 projects. So in those 2 projects, I never used any math or stats. Okay, all I need is making the model to understand what I'm instructed to do. And second, quickly solving the problem. So considering that, you do need to understand a little bit math and stat, but don't spend too much time going deeper into this one. But if you're interested, let's say I want to go and work in a research firm like a OpenAI or in Google, in a research focused area, then definitely you need to understand math, science behind the scene, correct? If the goal is to going more towards industry, working in industry, solving industry problem, building automation, that does not need deeper skills on math or science or stats, anything, correct? Your expectation is how do you make the model to listen what a business user trying to do and helping business user using the model to solve these problems. So that is what I expected. Okay. So I thought I could share with you because that is how people are thinking right now. I'm studying data science, I'm studying stats, math, which is a foundational skills. Is this going to help me in this world of generative AI? Correct? It depends on what you want to do. If your focus more going towards industry, this may not help much. Okay? So these skills needed, definitely. If your focus is going to be research, focus is going to be more towards like product development, those skills we needed. Industry problems are different. Industry not just only works in Gen AI, industry works in very complex technologies. How do you make all this complex technology work together? Right? So I'm going to show you some slides at what I am working on as a projects, how complex these are all, correct? Like now, so we start from mainframe, COBOL, DB2, and bringing all the way down to machine learning, correct? Like IBM has a platform called MLZOS. So that platform purely built for COBOL kicks, correct? That's a mainframe. Some of you may have not even heard about it, correct? So such a complex technology, how do you bring that into the ML platform? And so those are the things the industry is looking for. Anyway, so just going back to what I was trying to say, if you're in the process of trying to finalize or helping somebody to go on site, study data science, rethink, consider your decision, correct? Why? Industry is leading towards more of large language model, generative AI. In that space, going foundation, like building a model from scratch, training, testing, deploying model, you may not need for that scale, right? It's a different approach to solve problem than what we know. Other example you'll get to see, correct? We all know if you want to read data from a table, we need SQL. Now, no SQL. Natural language, the language you speak, you can instruct model to use those languages and query a table. So fundamental software engineering changes, correct? So considering all of those things, going into basics, no longer needed, correct? We are in a completely different world, completely in a different type of engineering processes than what we have studied, what we learned so far, correct? Anyway, all right. So let me move on to the demo that I was doing. No, computer science, again, it's a very broader term, correct? Like what you study in computer science, correct? Like that is also matters actually, correct? Core computer science skills are needed. The core software engineering principles are needed. Still, we do have to program, correct? Even if you build a model, the model has to understand, listen to you. How do you instruct that one? That's through programming. So basic programming skills, understanding data structures are needed. But I'm talking specialized skills. Data science is not a computer science, it's a specialized skill, correct? So such skill in the space of Gen AI, large language model, I'm saying in my point of view, like I said, I could be right or wrong, correct? Not required, correct? So reason, industry is changing very rapidly, correct? Changes are coming into something that we can't even imagine how fast the changes are coming, correct? So in that space, going to spend time on studying about data science, correct? Statistics, mathematics, correct? I'm not saying no to that. Please continue, study, but look at what the scope is going to be, where industry is leading towards, what the potential opportunities out there, correct? Ultimately, either you have to be an employable resource or you have to start your own company, correct? No matter what path you took, like, it's a supply and demand, what the market demand. If there is no market demand, what's the point of spending time on these things, correct? Like, still we have mainframe, correct? Still we have people using COBOL, TB2, correct? Is there any new project starting? No, correct? So that is how it's going to be, correct? All right, let's, So cloud is a fundamental infrastructure, correct? Like, all of the project that I'm working on right now, it's all on cloud infrastructure. It's a Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure or like, AWS or IBM. So the cloud will become an infrastructure provider, correct? Even if you want to work on a Gen AI, but still the infrastructure where you build, host, and do things, it's all on cloud. That is required. That's a fundamental skill. Like, that's not going to change anything actually. I'm just talking about a specialized skills like data science. Right? So somebody is saying that they cannot hear me. They're asking me to increase the volume. I don't know how to do it. Ramesh.
No, it's a good volume.
All right, I will continue this. Okay. All right. So this is where we stopped. I'm going to continue this demo quickly and then maybe like, so see where we are. Based on that, we'll take a break or continue with this one actually. So I was trying to demonstrate like, how we can use generative AI in terms of education. We just looked at the assessment parts, okay? Now I started working towards content generation. So I want to teach a particular subject or I want to give a handout to the student, but I don't have a study material. I don't have any material for the student to give. How could I use generative AI, create a material, right? Study material. So this is basically what I'm trying to demonstrate. So if you have to create your own material, it will take ages, correct? Practically some cases, it's not even possible. You don't even find, correct? If you have to go and do a Google search, correct? There are so many hundreds of thousands of links. I don't know where do we start. How do we get all this in a very structured, methodical way for student to understand, correct? So this is where Gen AI comes into picture. Okay? So the model that what we have, it's very highly customized by us because our platform uses this Gen AI to provide educational material. So you can see them actually. So it's asking me what topic that I wanted to get content. I'm going to say data science. So when I say data science, as I said, it's a much broader topic. So now I'm ready to interact with the model. So I'm going to say, model, give me the content. So now you can see on the top, it's doing this one. So begin to see what it is doing right now. Since the topic is much broader, it's like a human, it understands, it divides the subtopics. In data science, what are the different topics I could study? Data structure, data analysis, EDA, exploratory data analysis, correct? It's going to pull all the subtopic. It's going to start generating content. There's one thing behind the scene it is happening. Second, content will be summarized at a level the student can learn, to be very structured, correct? You cannot, if you go and do a Google, you get so many material, but it's not structured. It's not like a textbook where you can read, correct? So we need content to be summarized and content to be formatted. And we don't want any redundant content. Like, so whatever topic you talked, same topic shouldn't come again, correct? We should remove them. So that's what it's doing this one. So it's finding the subtopic. Second, is trying to optimize the content, summarize the content, remove any redundancy in the content. Okay, so that is what it is doing. It's going to take some time, but at the end, you will get to see like a textbook. It's going to create a content like a textbook, which could be used for. Even if you go and ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT doesn't provide a textbook. It gives content based on what it's been trained. In this particular case, we train the model, we build the model because our product is using this in a way that it creates like a textbook. At the end, you will get to see it's like a textbook. It gives you everything with the page number, all you do that. So where I'm heading towards, in this case also, it generates content. Okay, so that is why it's called generative artificial intelligence. It could generate any content. So do not think only for educational material. If you want to create a content for healthcare, you can. If you want to create a content for financial services, correct? Where do we want to invest? Correct? You can do that. For legal professionals, correct? For people who's dealing with attorneys, they can create content. So there is no limit to this. It can be any industry, any function across industry people could use. That is why it's become very widespread. Okay, you could imagine the name that ChatGPT, correct? You go anywhere in the world, anybody you ask, they all know. For a company like Google to get to that space, it took 10 years, correct? But this single product, in a span of 2-3 years, it reached billions of subscribers, correct? People started using this one. So that is how it is right now. It is very widespread, right? So people started using this platform, not necessarily ChatGPT, the concept of generative AI, the architecture behind generative AI. How could we use this one to bring content the way you wanted, right? So if you want to write documents, essays, correct? Whatever you want to write can be written using this one, right? So if you go into ChatGPT, that may or may not meet your expectation. So this is where the model tuning comes into picture. Training the model on your own data, making the model to listen what you want to do, instructional tuning, correct? All these things will come into picture, which are going to cover in the session actually, correct? So the point is, using this architecture, this technology, you could build any content to anybody. To anybody, it's a very broader statement, but that is true. Okay, that is really true. So it's still running. This particular product, what we are doing actually, this is our own product. I cannot say what limitation it has, but in general, if you ask Gen AI, what is the limitation? So the model is trained on a publicly available data, right? Let's say you are working for Kaiser. I'm just giving an example. If you're asking a specific question about a Kaiser, the model may not know. Okay, so that is one point I wouldn't call a limitation. The model may not know something very specific to a domain, or specific to an industry, specific to a problem that you're trying to solve.
So, suppose I have a material for Boston, right? I have a PDF, I just upload this for.
It will work.
So,
What was
for the specific area of content?
Yes, we trained for specifically education. Okay, so now you could see it says the content is built. I'm ready to download, correct? I'll come back to you, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click download. So now the content is being downloaded. So this is the content that I asked for data science. So now the content is given to me in the form I can readily hand over to the student, okay? So this you don't get from ChatGPT. ChatGPT doesn't create this kind of material, correct? So here I asked for the model, so I have to fix the page number. So here you could see the content is structured. It identifies the subtopic, and also it removes the redundancy, and also summarize the level that what student can learn and understand. Like I said, it can be personalized as well. In our platform inside, this goes foundation level, intermediate level, advanced level. So based on how you learn, how you can understand certain concepts, because we track them, okay? When the students are on our platform, we track all their activities, keyboard, mouse, facial, everything. And based on that, we decide for the student what level of content to be provided. So this is basically telling you, using generative AI, you can create any content. Take the word, any content, not a content, any content for any industry, any field, for anyone, okay? So that is the beauty of this one actually. So we looked at how education could be used, generative AI. One is assessment, second is content generation. So we also provide a platform where you can do assessments. When I say assessment, if a class of 100 students, I don't have time to go and look at what each students are doing, whether it's a mathematics or a physics or a programming or a descriptive answer, I don't have time. How could I leverage generative AI? So that is where Gen AI comes into picture. So we do have an assessment platform. To the extent even behavioral assessment can be done, correct? How you behave based on a given scenario, correct? So which includes your writing pattern, correct? If you're angry, how you write. If you're in a very joyful mode, how you write, correct? We can get to that level in this one. We do that kind of assessment as well, correct? So here I'm asking the model to do an assessment for the students. So when I say assessment, for a demo purpose, I put two things. One is I can ask if somebody's writing, let's take an example, Python program, correct? I'm conducting a student's exercise on Python. So I want the model to evaluate and give an explainable AI. It's not a black and white answer. You cannot simply say you got 7 out of 10, but I have to explain to the student because there is a legal consequences, correct? If somebody tomorrow comes back and tells, I did well, but the model didn't score me well, I have to have factual evidence to back up, correct? So the model also provides an explainable AI, which is basically one of the key concepts people are exploring, correct? Especially when you put these models work in front of a customer, the model just not telling that when it's true or false or male or female, it also has to justify why am I making the decision, correct? What is the point behind the scene?
So
what it does explanation as well, actually. So I'm just going to go ahead, select programming. So here I'm asking the model to do an evaluation of student assessment. So here it's asking me, give me the assessment details, correct? So like I'm just going back. So I have set of assessment that I wanted to use. I'm just going back there. Give me 1 minute. So this is basically, I'm trying to ask the model to evaluate Python programming. So I have like a student written Python program actually. So I'm just going to take one of the program that was written by the student. So this is a program the student's written. So here's the program. I'm asking, it could be any complex program. Okay, don't think it's only Python. Don't think it's only a simple program. Any extent, any level. Like we deal all the things. We deal all the subjects. That means school, college, university, we are touched. So we have students from schools, we have students from colleges, we have students from university research fellows, correct? Any complex problem you can touch, right? So this is just a demo because I'm putting some simple program to understand. So if you notice here, actually, the program has an error in it, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and submit to the model. Now the model is running this one. It comes back. It tells what it tells me, actually, so it's basically tells me, it just gives a 9 point, correct? So it says, the code is clean and all, so it looks for all the instruction what you ask the model to do. So based on how we train, we look for coding style, we look for variable usage, we look for documentation, we look for indentation, all the instructions the model is given, it's going to start looking everything. If it meets the criteria, it gives grading. If it doesn't meet the criteria, it gives this one. In this case, if you look at here, it doesn't simply say I gave 9 points out of 10. It also gives the reasoning why it is done. So this is called explainable AI. You are trying to explain something to a layman where they don't have any idea behind this in what's happening, correct? So now let's say I'm taking another program, which is basically a program that has an error in it. So I'm uploading this program. Okay, so now I'm asking the model to do. In this case, there is some syntax error. So the model is going to look at it and tells me it found a syntax error, right? It's going to grade the student and tells you this one. It gives me 0 points and it tells you that there is basically a fundamental syntax error. I can't even run the program, right? So as I said, these are all small examples. Real world problems are different. Real world complexity is completely different. It can handle anything, okay? All you have to do is train them, teach them, coach them, how you do for your kids, right? So whatever way you're teaching for your kids, the same way you can train a model, same way you can teach the model. This model we trained for any type of problem from schools, colleges, universities, correct? It can go any level, math, science, physics, chemistry, whatever you name, including SAML, correct? So that's the level of power that it has actually, correct? So now let's say I'm not interested in programming. I want to do some kind of an assessment because that means it's a descriptive answer, correct? So this is where taxonomy comes into picture. When I say taxonomy, what I am going to expect from the student. You don't have to give an exact answer. If you want, you can, but you can give instructions. This is what I'm going to expect. Example, when I'm talking about a particular topic, right? I expect all these things from the student. What the way, right? That could be different, but I expect these concepts should be there, right? So I'm not expecting a black and white answer, what I am dictating the model to. As long as the concept is there, you understand this one. So do not think it just reads the text and tells you. It also looks at the intent. What is your intent of answering this one, correct? What message you are trying to communicate to this one? It looks for all of those, correct? So that means training a model at this scale, it's not an easy task. And these are the skills you really need to become an Gen AI expert. Understand the art of working with the model. Understand the art of dealing with the model. Keep in mind, these are all not an instruction given in a Python program. It is a natural language, the language what you speak. And this is where prompting comes into picture, correct? So all I'm trying to say, learn the art of working with complex model like this with the real problems, okay? Real problems. So here the point I'm trying to make, my taxonomy,
I am not expecting the student to write the way I want it, but I am looking for the theme. I'm looking for the intent. I'm looking for the message, what they're trying to convey. Check that out. Okay. So I'm going to ask the model. I have two options, like I said. If I want to give the model an actual answer, this is how the answer should be, I can give. Or I can give specific instruction taxonomy, that also I can give. So I'm going to give an actual answer. So this is the actual answer, what I'm expecting from the student. Okay. So if you don't have an actual answer, you can also ask the model to generate an answer, give it to you for your review. Correct? You can review the actual answer and then look at it. So here, the actual answer that what I expected from the student. And this is student answer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, one student one. So this topic is about how do we normalize machine learning, correct? Normalization could be different areas, correct? You can normalize database schema, correct? Table normalization, correct? That could be one way to look at it. But I am interested in normalization in machine learning. So the intent is on machine learning, not on data structure, not on a table design and etc. Correct? So this is a student answer, and this is my expectation. I'm asking the model to grade this. So now the model took my instruction. Okay, in this case, just a file instruction, or it could be, like I said, taxonomy. You can define anything, everything what you want to verify and check and everything. Correct? It gives you 1 out of 10 because the student misunderstood. It is a machine learning normalization. It is not a database normalization. Correct? It tells you the reasoning why it's done this way. Correct? The second answer I'm going to give, actually, in this case, it's going to try to grade the student with a different one, actually. So when I do this one, this student wrote about normalization in machine learning, which is my intent. And it is going to tell me how many points. It gave 9 points out of 10. It gives the reason. Correct? So do not think the answers are black and white. Like a lot of people think, how does the model, I'm going to trust the model, correct? So this is the question that industry is asking. Is it biased, correct? So again, all these topics are going to come into picture, correct? Like, so how do I know whether the model is biased or not, correct? So the point is, it's all workable, okay? You learn to learn and understand. So if your goal is to get involved in this space, start looking into this more closer. How do we work with this model? How do we train the model? How do we instruct the model to do what I'm trying to do, correct? Just start something simple, easy enough to understand. So that is my goal. By end of the day tomorrow, I want you to build an app like this, which is already pre-built. You just have to assemble them. Okay? It's a ready-made, like you're going to Walmart, or you're buying the table that what you wanted. When you come home, all you're doing, you're not going to start from scratch. Just follow the instruction, just do an assemble. Okay? So that is how the second day is going to be structured. So whatever we learned today, I want you to follow the instruction and assemble this one so that you have a feel how to build these applications. There are, like I said, a lot of moving parts. It's just a matter of connecting them actually. So this is to give you an idea, right? When people say generative artificial intelligence, what exactly means to us. This is just one piece of it. Okay, imagine how many industries we have, right? Energy, healthcare, retail, consumer, financial services, correct? Transportation, name it. It touches everywhere. It touches everywhere. So even if you take education, if a teacher has to come and do all this job, how much time it takes to do an assessment for 100 students? It will take at least 2-3 weeks, 2-3 days for the teacher to do. Here, it's all done fraction of seconds, correct? So the acceleration, as well as the productivity that it brings to the business, it's unimaginable. Something that we never thought it is going to go this far, correct? It has just reached that level now. People started realizing, people started believing in it, people started using it. So it became very widespread. It's become a very rapid growth right now, correct? Everybody started looking at it actually. All right, now let's move on. So this is just something that I wanted to, yes. Explainable AI. I do have another demo. So I have a topic today to cover. It's called fairness, right? How do you measure the fairness of a model? If a model says you are pass or fail, how do I know is it what it means to me? So that is called fairness assessment. It's a matrix we need to understand. So that includes a lot of things like counterfactual, demography, like prediction. So I'm going to cover that one. So going back to explainable AI, it is fundamentally making a layman to understand why does the model says this way, correct? What is behind the scene? You don't understand y equal to mx plus c, how it works, correct? That is not your intent. I am an end user, okay? I don't care math science behind the scene. Explain to me why did the model make the decision? What is the factual evidence for me to this one? In legal proceedings, it matters. Okay, when you are getting into legal situations, you need to justify why you made this decision. Correct? For example, we talked about DMP. When people apply for a specialized license plate, they could use bad words in a different language. Right? You could take a Tamil word, which is a bad word, and translate it in English and use it. We detect them. Right? So we deny them. So let's say we accidentally denied a good configuration, then the customer have a potential to sue us. Right? We have to explain to them. And that is why it's called explainable AI, a layman to understand who have no knowledge about it. Okay? So that is the point. I'll come to that one. Okay?
So question from the Zoom. Can you highlight the difference between Gen AI
Jothi?
versus predictive?
I'm touching this one right now. Okay. Yes, I'm going to speak, but there is a more heavy topic on that one. Actually, that also going to come into the picture actually. So the traditional artificial intelligence, what we have learned, correct? If you look at on the surface, I'm not saying this is the only thing. If you, let's say you want to go and take a course in Coursera, or even for that matter, MIT, Stanford, if you look at their curriculum, they start with machine learning, then they go on to classification, building classification model, regression model, clustering model, association model, anomaly model, so on and so forth. Okay, and some extent they go for deep learning models such as image-based, etc. But these are all what it is. It's just one problem. Let's say I'm trying to find out whether the customer is going to churn yes or no. It's a simple problem. I'm trying to build a model where the model takes the historical data and tells whether this customer is going to churn yes or no. Okay? So that is a simple classification model. These models that what we build in the current AI world are in the machine learning space, very focused on a particular problem. You cannot reuse them, right? If I'm building customer churn model for Walmart, can I use the same model for Target? Impossible. Why? The underlying data are different. It is heavily built on what data that you're going to use. Right? So these traditional models, what we're looking at in industry, okay, I know it's going to be a bit technical for some of you. It falls under any of this category. Either it's a classification model, I'm trying to classify whether it's a boy or girl, cat or dog, or fail, who or die. There's a classification. You are trying to classify data set yes or no, correct? In the discrete values. It could be binary, it could be multi-class. Again, I don't want to go too technical, people get lost. So that is a classification problem. I'm not interested in classification and regression. How much the house is going to cost? It's a range of value, 100 to 200,000. I'm not trying to classify something, but I'm going to say a range of value. The model predicts this one. So these are all additional problem what we have been solving in industry. Correct? This requires bringing data sets together, okay, and making the model to learn the data, which is training the model, then testing the model, deploying the model, correct? So this cycle it takes to build all these things enormous. Okay, I'm talking real world. I'm not talking about learning something basics, correct? In the real world, if you want to build this one, heck, it takes a lot of time, correct? The number one challenge is data. Number two, building, training, testing, deploying. The cycle time it takes. Then infrastructure, resources, all these things costing this one, correct? But how do we overcome this challenge? Okay, so the point is, in the traditional artificial intelligence, which people ask me today, can I study data science? Correct? You can, no question. But a lot of what we do no longer needed in the world of Gen AI. Okay? So the point is, in the traditional artificial intelligence, we solve problems like classification, regression, clustering, association, anomaly. So these problems one-on-one, one problem, one solution. That means you take ChatGPT. It is not built for Kaiser. It is not built for Blue Shield. It is not built for state of California. It is not built for county. Anybody can use, correct? That is a system we want to build. These are all not that way. It is very narrow focused, okay? It is very narrow focused. Whatever you build, that cannot be reused. That means you're wasting time, correct? You're wasting time. So industry don't want to consider these type of approaches. In traditional artificial intelligence, the time, money, energy, cost you spent no longer need to be spent in the way we are doing. It's a different approach is coming. So the point is traditional model building, machine learning, data science, artificial intelligence activities are very narrow focused. Okay, so that is not the case in the future. Okay, so I hope you understand. So traditional model is Yes, our platform tracks the student at every level, their facial expression, the question they answered, keyboard activity, mouse activity. Let's say you open our product, on the other side, you open Google and watch YouTube video. We track them, correct? So it tracks everything, then it makes its own decision. It tells you, are you focused? Are you concentrating on your studies, correct? So it also asks cross question. Let's say you are not, your session is ideal for 5 minutes. It will bring a question and ask you, right? So based on, because the question is context driven, whatever context you are studying, it will be on that context. If you're not answering, that means you're not concentrating. So it will track all of those, and based on that, it will make a one decision. Where do you fall? Do you fall a foundation, intermediate, advanced level? So that means if you're not able to answer anything, obviously you are at the very basic level, correct? So it also gives a recommendation, what do you have to do, right? It gives a recommendation actually. So that is how we personalize. Yes, on our platform. We can't go outside our platform. When they are on a platform, we track everything from day one. So yes, we will track everything, and we have a profile, student profile. The student profile will tell us what content to be created, what question to be created. No, everything is done through GenAI only. Right? Like, so tracking also done through GenAI actually. GenAI, yes. No, not the traditional model. We changed it. We started with the traditional model. Now we recently moved everything to GenAI platform. Yes. So the question is, how do we personalize the student, correct? To personalize the student, we have to track the student every moment. That means somebody just because watching our platform on our platform doesn't mean they're concentrated, correct? They could be watching YouTube session in another window, correct? How do we know? There could be another laptop, they could be watching something there, correct? So basically, we track all the facial expressions. In case if they're not focused on, we bring cross question. That means the context on their end, we bring some questions and ask them, correct? So based on how they're performing, we understand, are they focused or they're not focused, correct? We make our own decisions, correct? So how do you do that part? Is there a traditional AI or a Gen AI? I said we started with the traditional AI. Now we moved everything to Gen AI, correct? So that's how we are doing actually. The model is trained to do all those things. This is where instruction comes into the picture. You give the instruction and make sure actually the instructions follow through. It takes time. It is not just like, you just give the instruction, it follows tomorrow itself. It takes a lot of time. So by following this instruction, we identify whether the student is following or not, right? Anyway, so going back, what I'm trying to say here actually. How do you make sure Sure.
What was the question? If you don't mind repeating.
Jothi, we can see two screens with the next slide and the current slide.
Sure. No problem. That's fine. Actually, let me answer this question. First point is, we don't admit student. This happens only after the admission, but I will answer the question. So we have fairness matrix. Fairness matrix means before we put anything into production, we check how well the model is performing. Like I said, demography, okay, prediction, counterfactuals. Like this, we have a matrix to verify, is this biased, right? How do we know based on the outcome that what I'm going to measure this one, I will get to know how it is biased, right? That is basically our checklist before we put anything into production to make sure actually we don't get these kind of questions, right? So we don't have a model which evaluates student to be admitted in a particular program, right? Whatever product we have, in the product, we have fairness matrix. Fairness matrix is basically checking bias and making sure the model does what it's supposed to do. Like I have a session which I'll cover more in detail. So that is a checklist for us to make the model to qualify to deploy in production, because more than 18,000 students are there. So we are not building model for a student or one region, one country. It is used worldwide. That means the behavior of the student, as well as the students, as well as the students' level of interaction, each country, each city, each course is different.
How do we ensure that? Correct? So we have a fairness matrix. Before we put anything in production, we ourselves has to be convinced. But the second point, it is still an evolving phase. Even though I say, correct, are we 100% true? No, correct? It is an evolving space. It's going to take some time for us to shape well, but it is a process we need to build, correct? So there is no right or wrong answer. It is not a black and white decision. Yes, I don't have a bias. Not only ChatGPT, not only, yes. No, I'm just telling you. Yes, I am not denying at all. I'm not denying at all, correct? Yes. The responsibility is a broader
Can you
umbrella.
repeat the question for
It is
online
not a
audience?
technology, it is more of a practice, correct? When I say practice, for example, you may have heard about GRC, governance risk compliance. There are tools out there, but the tool itself is not going to solve the problem. You have to build a process. You have to build a practice, correct? If you look at the management consulting for like KPMG and Deloitte, they just live with this practice, GRC, governance risk and compliance. In the same way, correct? It's an evolving space. We don't have a predefined set of governance rules, a template, checklist to follow. Yes, I'm done. I checked off, no bias, everything looks great. We don't have anything at this point. So you can tell, like, anything, everything you wanted to, but reality is different. Covering, like I said, when I'm looking at my student, each country, the student activity is different. Each subject is different. And student ethnicity, correct? Somebody from some background, they study well. Somebody from different background, they don't study well. We have to consider all those factors, correct? Are we doing this one? Some extent, yes. Are we perfect? No, we are not perfect, correct? We are not perfect. If I say I'm lying to you, correct? So there is nowhere in the world, people can come and say, my model is not biased, or my model performs the scale that a fairness matrix is bit defined, correct? So this is the criteria that for my fairness matrix. Does the model meets all this criteria? No. It is evolving space. It's going to take some time. Okay. All right. A lot of interesting topics, questions. So I hope you understand the difference between traditional AI and generative AI, right? Traditional AI, you start things from scratch. What you build is just for only that problem. It can't be reusable. It's what I built for Walmart, I cannot use for Target. Even though both are in the same industry, retail industry, human business, both sell similar products. Whatever I build for Walmart, let's say I'm building a customer recommendation system for Walmart, can I take and deploy in Target? No. Why? The underlying data are different. And that is the biggest challenge. And how do we overcome? It's when Gen AI comes into picture. You generate the content. Okay? So generative AI does not narrow focus, it's a generalized model. Okay? So this is where, how do we make the model to be generalized? We need a model which understands languages. Okay? So language could be in any form, right? It could be text-based, image-based, voice-based. Like I'm standing talking to you, you can see me visually, right? That's a visual learning. If I write something, that's my text-based, right? If I record a video and give it to you, you are watching the video, it's a video-based, right? So the content could be in any form. Right? Your model should understand all type of content. If I take a classification model like a decision tree, can this understand voice? No. Can this understand image? No. Right? So there are certain limitations in the traditional way. So that is why industry wanted to move out from the traditional way, AI, more towards Gen AI. And this is where large language model comes into picture. So we do have a separate topic on the large language model. We'll cover more into it actually. All right. Now let's understand. So generative AI, when people say it's a foundation model, it means it's like thing can be done on top of it. Okay? So it is not built for one particular problem. It could take any problem. When I say foundation, the foundation could be used for healthcare. The foundation could be used for oil and gas. The foundation could be used for energy. Foundation could be used for any industry. So that is why it's a foundation model. You build on top of it. You don't have to start from scratch. Traditional model, you build from scratch. In this case, I don't have to. It's already there. My job is to solve my problem. Why would I have to go and build something that from the scratch? So here I have a foundation model, which provides the basic that what I need to get started and quickly solve my problem. And that is the reason people going towards this approach. So it is a foundation model which solves many problems. And that is not the case in the traditional AI space. All right. So I already talked about this one.
why does it called generative AI? Okay, it generates content. Okay, period. It generates content. What kind of content? Anything you could imagine. Anything you could imagine. Okay, if you want to create a movie, you can. If you want to write a script, you can. If you want to compose music, you can. Model can be trained to build anything at a scale. Anything at a scale. These are not POCs. But you have to understand, nothing happens overnight. It's all going to take some time. It is all going to take some time. It is all going to involve tremendous effort, right? Tremendous effort. It is not just like that you can go and build. But the point is where we are heading towards, what we are trying to do, right? In the future, you may not need a music composer. In the future, you may not need a script writer. In the future, you may not need an actor, right? Everything will be done by a model, right? The model could bring more creativity than what an actor or actors can do. Right? It's heading towards that direction. So since it generates the content in any form that you want, right? In any form that you could imagine, right? It can build that level of content at a scale. Okay, so this is not any more research. This is not any more like, POCs. It is on a full-scale production capacity, right? On a full-scale production capacity, people are leading towards that one. But it's going to take some time. So you could imagine, you can look at your role, whatever you're doing, how could you use? I'm a QA engineer. Where do I use? Script. You can build this one. Technically, we are building right now. Okay, so one of the clients, they ask us to build a test script. How do we test? It's a Singapore-based company. So they asked us, they apply for patents. When they apply for patent, there are so many checks they have to do. They said it's a very human intervention, a lot of work involved. We use GenAI to build a test script to test all the patents exist or not. We are working on right now. The entire test automation to verify, make a patent to be qualified. We are doing that work with the government of Singapore. Okay. So all this become reality right now. Anything can be done in any function that you could you are involved. You can apply in whatever you do, in what form it is. Okay? All right. This is just an idea. I'm just putting together how this works. Okay. You don't have to look at it. Yes. Okay, they asked me to repeat your question, please. Okay, they're going to give a mic to you.
If you're training the model to test again already pattern, and now then create a new idea.
100% yes, but are we there yet? No. Okay, but that is where we want to get to, make model to be a human creator. Right now, the creator is a human, correct? I'm the one giving the instruction, correct? So when I give the instruction, I am telling the model what to do, or I'm telling the model follow this set of rules, correct? So that we want to remove that. Okay, we want to remove that. It is going to happen. It is going to happen. It is like our kids, correct? When you teach your kids, they're not going to learn everything from day one, correct? So you could see at the age of 5 what they can do, at the age of 10 what they can do, at the age of 20 what they can do. When they're married, what they can do, they will be on their own. Same way here, correct? So we are at this stage. When it matures, I'm very sure it will be that level. Anything you ask, it will create. That's why I said in the future we may not need a music composer, we not need a script writer, we not even need an actor, correct? So why do we want this damn guy, correct? I need something very creative, correct? It's possible. It is possible, right? So anyway, so if you are in the space of QA, so we are currently doing a work. How do we build test scripts and test automation using GenAI, correct? It is currently in pilot. We are working with them actually for patent approval and denial and all. So this is just an architecture, correct? Like, I'm not saying that like, so this is how it is, how this works actually. So you could ignore this one. The point what I'm trying to make you understand, as a human, your input could be in any form. Your input could be in a text form, image form, whatever it is, correct? You are giving the model to get, I need a text, I need a code, I need an image, I need a video. It brings everything together actually. And behind the scene, what is involved? A large language model, which understands this. Okay. All right. So this is another demo that I wanted to show. How does the model interact with you voice? How does the model interact with the text, correct? So I do wanted to make you feel this one. So what we looked at, it's very text-based. I want to ask the model to recognize my voice and create a voice one, right? I want the model to create an image for me, correct? Like, so I do want it to build a model which understands human voice, which understands the image that what I'm taking, and how can I communicate with the model with those kind of images and voices and things like that. Actually, it's a very quick demo. The demo that I did, education, that's our one. Okay, we took open source and built on top of it. We didn't build from scratch. We took some of the open sources, but we continue to invest and build on top of it. Okay, that is our own LLM.
So the beginning you said that the AI is going to be an augmentation for the contract. And just now you mentioned that you don't need to writer or actor or music director. What would be high school friends like the rating of jobs and what would they do?
Okay. All right. So let's take an example in another way. Tesla, very much it's autonomous, correct? I wouldn't say 100%, maybe 90% it's autonomous. Okay. So let's look at the people who's driving cars for their life, who's driving for Uber, who's driving for a Lyft, correct? Let's say down the line, like Tesla, every car become an autonomous. Okay. Down the line, it could be 5 years, could be 10 years, but it's going to happen. You and I cannot control. The market is capitalist market. None of us in the room, correct? Even if you're a president, you have no control. It is driven by the markets. Okay? So 10 years from now, all cars become an autonomous. So what happened to these people? Right? People who's driving Uber, driving Lyft for their life. So 10 years from now, the autonomous, you just call, the car comes, you go. What happened to these people? You have an answer? No. Who can answer this question? Policymakers, like madam, the mayor, madam here. People like them, they have to make the policy, correct? So let's say, if, like, I'm just throwing something, okay? It's just for a discussion point of view. So all the people are driving Tesla, correct? 10 years from now, everybody. Now, the company Uber takes car from Tesla. So they said, we don't need a driver. The car is going to function itself. If you're paying $100, all $100 comes to me because I don't have to pay a driver, correct? So now the policy has to build in such a way, correct? Because we are making people cannot work. We should pay them something, correct? So it's going to come to, that's just my hypothetical explanation, correct? So point is, there is no policy help us to guide how to build all these things. But as a speculation, how you see it as an industry professional, where this industry is heading towards, correct? It is heading towards that level, right? It is heading towards that level. So as a policymaker, people have to look at it and then control this one. So this is where this responsible AI, explainable AI, ethical AI become a very important at this point. If you look at any public entity, I don't know how much involved in the state agency. In the state agency, if you're trying to procure something, now they introduce something called Gen AI declaration. That means you have to declare your product and services, whatever you are providing to the state of California, does not have a component of Gen AI. That means they want to ensure, correct, people's jobs or anything of that nature. It is not in a position, it makes people to feel that somebody's going to take over, correct? So this is a policy, right? Who's defined? Could be the governance office, correct? Like this, the policy will come into play when things go in a much rapid space. Okay? But it's already happening, right? See, from a business point of view, people look for commercials. People look for, correct, success criteria, correct? So if you look at YouTube, correct, before YouTube, like the arts of creation or bringing your idea to life, it is very minimal, correct? Very, very minimal. Now, whatever skill you have, whatever way you want to expose yourself, you can do all, put it out there. Millions of people are watching, correct? How does that happen? It is market driven, correct? Do we have any control on these things? You can put comments, correct? But still, there's no control there. Okay, somebody like cooking, they put cooking. Somebody like hairdressing, they put that, correct? So like this, we don't have a policy which controls all those things. Eventually that will happen. Okay, all right. So
Oh, yeah. eh, interruption real quick. I think the screen stopped being shared, or did you do that on purpose?
I'm trying to bring the application.
Louder, please.